Hey folks, welcome back to another Paul Mass video, and I guess today we'll talk a bit about the Raihan and Duraludon rerun. Do we really need to talk about this? Honestly, okay, jokes aside, I do think it's actually a pretty interesting banner to talk about, because like generally, you think, oh, come on, old Pokefair rerun, is it really, whatever, right? But there are a few big things to this rerun that makes it not just like an average rerun. First of all, you do have the 5 out of 5 expanded grid. Second of all, I'm not sure if you guys did see this, but it seems like Absol actually found out that after Cynthia's the Cynthia banners goes away, right? Raihan will be there, and the Pokefairs that were like in the pool beforehand will still be in there. So like they're gonna have like Raihan's banner, and in the general pool they'll still have Cynthia and Marnie in there. So that's relatively interesting. Obviously, it would be insane trying to fish for Cynthia and or Marnie with those like unfeatured rates, but it's just a really nice, I guess, incentive to make people like actually pull for like banners like these, right? So there's that. You also do get the extra Trainer Lodge keys, right, for level caps, although I don't feel like those are a huge deal, but I mean they're just like nice extras, I guess. But there's a few things with this that does make it a bit more interesting than some of the others. Again, I'm not saying you should like pull for 5. I don't think anyone should, because no unit really is like a necessary for 5 out of 5 right now, right? So none of them, like, if you don't have 5 out of 5, it's like the end of the world or whatever, right? But Raihan Duraludon, I feel like of all the 5 out of 5 grids we've gotten this month, he probably got the best one. He got like something similar-ish to Cynthia and Garchomp / Karen and Mega Houndoom's sort of a grid expansion. I mean, they're different because this is a 5 out of 5 grid expansion. Those were just horizontal expansions. He got the vertical one, right, which is the, again, 4 out of 5. Also a 1 2 out of 5 node, right? Expansion, those got the free ones, right? But like in terms of like the level of like buff, right? What they're going with is, because before Raihan didn't have much of a nuke, right? It's just like Sandblaster 5, which, let's be real, did not do that much damage. But now with the extra Cakewalk that I think he gets at 5 out of 5, right? Cakewalk, and obviously you need Trip twice to help like actually activate it, right? With Cakewalk and stuff like Weather Warrior 3, right? Weather Warrior 3 is one that he gets at 4 out of 5, which is fantastic, right? Weather Warrior is definitely really nice to have, because it applies again to both your sync and DPS, right? He went from really a pretty bad sync nuker into like one of the better like striker nukers in the entire game, right? Like this is like crazy numbers for a striker AoE nuker. Again, this is with super effective up, right? So it's only with that super effective up. But even without the super effective up, that's how much? Through 3 point, almost 3.4 million, right? Which is still a lot for a striker. For a striker nuke, that's still like quite a bit. Again, like you could see, that's like straight up like more than like Thorton, which is a Tech EX nuke, right? So it's a AoE striker EX nuke that is just one of the better ones. It's not as good as something like Deoxys, but still that's very good. I mean, I think it should be better than the stuff like Red and Charizards, right? Something like that. So it's a very powerful nuke, and also you do have some pretty good DPS. These different grids, right? In terms of DPS versus nuke, but still should have relatively decent and good steel type DPS as well. So overall, it's pretty good grid in terms of the 4 out of 5. Again, we went over the whole 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5, like a whole nother. I'm not saying you should pull for the 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5, but I guess if you're like a huge Raihan fan and you really like Raihan, Duraludon, and you don't mind doing it, I guess this is definitely a good upgrade. I'm just like I'm trying not to put my feelings into this, because I do not like the 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5 grid update, but objectively looking at this is a good upgrade, right? So if you're a huge Raihan Duraludon fan, this could really be nice. And if you look at like steel type damage healers, right, he's probably one of the better ones as well, right? In terms of DPS, he's not he's not the best. Obviously, that's still Singsu Giovanni, but but he's, if you grid him right, he could be relatively close DPS wise, and even if you don't grid him for DPS, he should still be really really nice. On top of that, he has again the best strikers EX AOE nuke, right, as well. So could you say he's the best steel type damage dealer? You could say that. Do I think he is? Maybe, but regardless, if you think he's the best or not, he's definitely up there, right? This is just a really really great, fantastic boost for him. I feel in general, and yeah, that's just the incentives there, right? Then that's stacking incentives in there. You have the extra Cynthia and Garchomp in the general pool. You have obviously again Raihan Duraludon being the focus here with the extra expanded grid. Get the extra keys or whatever. Yeah, it's just a very, 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 very powerful rerun. Also, the extra incentive as well is now if you like never had Raihan Duraludon before, and then you get him, you get another unit for free, right? Basically, because you also pick up the lounge, or not pick up, but you have the chance to unlock the lounge Raihan and Gigalith, right, for a lounge pair, because you do need the base Raihan Duraludon to get this Gigalith over here. And this guy's actually pretty freaking cool too. All right, so it's a buy one get one free sort of situation over here with Raihan, and yeah, it's just a really really solid. Again, no support EX, but defensively a pretty solid support that could buff both your teams, physical and special attack. Got extra regen, whatever, 1 gauge spam. Just an overall really really nice. I feel support. As for going back to the main Raihan, right? There's one bit of issue with the main Raihan, other than it's like bad speed, but his team comps are relatively restrictive, right? Because you basically kind of have to just run this Raihan, Palatine's Marnie, obviously for Steel Zone, and then like a Sandstorm unit. Most cases, if you do have it, it's Ingo, right? Ingo and Ingo Extra Drill, generally what that would be probably the best case scenario in terms of sand units, right? So you do have a pretty restrictive team comp, so do keep that in mind. If you don't have the optimal setup for this guy, his obviously his damage output would not be as good, but yeah, it's a pretty expensive unit to run, I'd say. As for the extra 2 out of 5 nodes, Fierce Entry and Stalwart, Stalwart's kind of whatever, right? I mean, it's just more of a cheap node. Just go from here to get this sync move power up node. It's like what, 1 cheaper than going here, but I feel like if you do have enough power, right, these are a bit better. It's like 1 steel beam power up and like some extra speed, which is pretty nice. So there's that. And then Fierce Entry is relatively useful if you are running like Rock Slide Duraludon. Oh yeah, because also Duraludon is like a 3 different type sort of damage dealer kind of beat, right? Rock Slide Duraludon's not bad. It's not like anything crazy either, but it's not bad. Dragon Pulse Duraludon is also not terrible, but generally, I mean, you'd find better Dragon type strikers than Dragon Pulse Duraludon, right? So yeah, it's an interesting case. It's an interesting case of a unit to pull for. I'd feel like the answer probably still no, right? Let's be real. Like, despite of the incentives, the other Pokefairs in the general pool, the fact that you get another, free Raihan afterwards with a Lodge pair, the extra 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 2 out of 5 nodes, the extra Lodge keys. Like, there's a lot of stuff stacked into, like, actually, pulling and getting this unit on this banner. But I'd still say no, man. Come on. Like, he's good. He's very, very, very good. Fantastic damage deal, all that stuff. Great upgrade. But it's just that, again, the Master Fairs, right? The Master Fairs are still here, and that's the thing, right? Because like yesterday we tried to like rank the best units of this update, and that's the real like big difference. Like, you could say this Raihan is better than SS Wally. You could say this Raihan's better than Halloween Iris, right? You could say that he's better than them, right? And in terms of if we're just purely talking about damage, he is unquestionably better than both of those. And it's just in terms of what do you value more. But even though if you do think Raihan's better than those units, I don't feel like he's worth pulling over the other ones, right? That's why, again, I always say, please do not use that list for like a which units should you summon for list, right? Because like even if I do think Raihan is better than Iris, Halloween Iris. Would I pull for Raihan over Halloween Iris? No, no. Halloween Iris is just a much more, I think, needed sort of unit, right? It's harder to replace Halloween Iris. Like, if you don't have Poison Zone, damn, what are you gonna do with you? You know, it's a big difference. It's a big difference. I do think, you know, whether it's SS Wally or Halloween Iris, I do think both of them are much more valuable. Even Alistair with the Ghost type rebuff, I feel like those 3 units are much more valuable than Raihan Duraludon in terms of pulling, right? So like you got the Mass Affairs, you got also the SC units still up. All those are really good as well. And then like, yeah, I just really wouldn't. As good as this guy is, as many incentives as they stack into that banner, I'm saying it's more of a trap than anything else. Unless, again, you're a big Raihan Duraludon fan, then go for it. But if you're not, I really wouldn't. Yeah. So maybe I'd put this at like a 5.1 out of 10. It's just like barely over 50%, just because it is still a limited unit, right? And I'd say, you know, there's always value in pulling limited units because they're, well, limited. And again, it's a strong unit overall. The incentives there are definitely nice. I'm not saying they're bad, but I just wouldn't. No, definitely don't. I would say definitely don't go for him over any of the Master Fairs that are still up, the seasonals, the SC units, right? Even SS Wally, I feel like, is more valuable. Even they're both Pokefairs, right? And I do think like even just going for SS Wally would be more worth it. And also, again, do keep in mind Villain Lark coming next month, so that could be huge, right? So please save for Villain Lark. At least. So anyways, yeah, that's for this one, I guess. Hope y'all generally guys think in the comments down below. Like, enjoy the video, subscribe to the channel for some more Poem Masters content. I'll see you guys in the next one then. If I could end this. There we go. Good.